Hey, wrestling fans. Welcome to the One Wing Wrestling Podcast, where two wrestling elitists discuss or review AEW events and wrestling news from around the world. At One Wing Wrestling, our motto is, we go where the elite go. I'm your host, Krishna, and joining me today is Mr. Bill Cutbush. Bill, how's it going?
Hello there. It is still going remarkably about the same as yesterday. Except now there are dark gray clouds in the sky and
Mhm.
there are thunderstorms imminently bearing down on us.
Oh, no. Does that mean that our feed may cut off when
It
the storms
mean
start?
it means that, TSN will probably conk out for me the whole time and there'll be some major reveal during the show and I'm gonna miss the whole thing. But that's out of my hands and it's not something that's happened yet. So, I'll just hope that we get to do our normal show, which is, we're gonna provide our thoughts and expectations on tonight's Dynamite, what we hope for, what we think might be good or bad, look for that match of the night. That's something that just might make that all important Omega level.
And now that Kenny is returning imminently, I'm not going to ask, can any match ever reach that Omega level without Kenny there? It's more, when is Kenny returning and when are we going to have these Omega level matches again?
But we already had one. I keep pointing this out to you now every week.
I don't
You
know what you're
called
talking about. I
something
don't know
Omega
what you're
level.
talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I think you're making stuff up.
Do I have to go back and pull the clip for our next episode? Oh, good
Well,
times.
that being said, let's get into it because I think there's a lot of news
Yes.
today, a
Oh, there
lot of
is.
matches that we need to prepare
Mm-hmm.
for. So let's start off with keeping up with the elites. So,
Yes.
so first off, just some updates. I may have heard you and Bill jump in at any time and give your updates as well. There hasn't been any real new update on Kenny Omega's injury. However, there was an Instagram post by Kenny Omega yesterday, and it was him again hooked up to machine saying he's getting better, but still not giving that time frame. And he said he's being honest, but there's just something about this, and I'm like, something is up. Something is definitely up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also, not sure if you saw Being the Elite this week.
I did.
Okay. Adam Cole watching the Young Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Someone pointed out, did you see the t-shirt Adam Cole was wearing?
I missed it. What t-shirt was he wearing?
It was the original One Winged Angel t-shirt.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So a lot of hints. Again, you brought
Interesting.
it up last week when you were like,
Yep.
remember Kenny Omega with the Cookie Monster t-shirts and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Something's gonna happen. Now, again, I'm not saying it's gonna happen tonight.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming back sooner than later. So that was my update.
Okay. Well, we have a couple other updates in line with Kenny Omega and his love of video
Sweet.
games. AEW Fight Forever is released a teaser trailer today, and THQ Nordic will be, I guess, the distributor for the game.
Mhm.
Um, it is now available for pre-order, though in Amazon Canada it doesn't exist yet. If you put Fight Forever into Amazon Canada, you get romance novels, and I'm not quite sure why that is, but that's what you get. Um, and
Maybe they mean that because Amazon, maybe when you type it in, fight
mhm.
forever, they just mean that if your wife buys this novel, you will indefinitely fight forever.
Or it means when you buy the game, buy her these novels,
So she
and she'll
can
be
read them.
distracted. Will you get to go play the game?
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't worry too much. I know that the I saw the trailer, saw the images and everything like that. Um, I wouldn't be worried about the pre-orders because honestly, like game pre-orders, especially wrestling games, we don't really need to pre-order them. We can get them on the day of. But
That's very true. We're
yeah,
not exactly talking especially an AEW game. Its market is niche.
niche. Exactly. Thoughts on the game? You know what? They have a very unique art style. I'm okay with it. It looks, I kind of joke about it. Like there's this game called Legends of Wrestling. It kind of looks like the Legends of Wrestling game, kind of cartoony, kind of not cartoony. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Like if they can have like I think this is better than, let's say, our favorite game, No Mercy and stuff like that is better than No Mercy. That's for sure. Because remember, No Mercy was a game that came out in 2000, right? On the N64. So graphics wise, better. I'm just hoping that the gameplay is up to standards, right? Like that's what I care about. I care about a good gameplay from the shots that they showed. very, very reminiscent of the of No Mercy and Revenge and everything like that. Just like the little bars at the bottom, the way instead of saying special, it said signature on there, right? It's very, very hoping. Again, Kenny did promise that um the wrestling game he wanted to create would be like a successor to No Mercy, right?
Right.
And in Kenny, I trust. So
Well,
that's my thoughts.
I got two more things to add to that.
Okay.
One, it is available on the PS4.
Yes, it is. And the
So
Switch.
I Switch. Who uses this? Oh wait, like half the universe. Apparently anyone under the age of 30, every one of them owns a
They
Switch now.
all
So
own it. Yep.
anyway, um, my clunking PS4 will be able to play it, so that's good. And two, it has creator wrestler
Hmm.
and career mode.
Hmm.
That's all I care about. Creator wrestler, career mode.
I saw an image of I'm forgetting her name now. The wrestler. She was the women's champion. Why am I forgetting her name now? Not Britt, but the like
Rio?
she had a sorry.
Riho?
Sheeta. There you go.
Oh, Hikaru Shida.
Sheeta.
Yeah.
I saw an image of Sheeta. It looked like she was doing but the image, it was a little bit misleading. So I thought at first, I'm like, why is Sheeta playing baseball? Because it had her hitting something, but from the view, it was her back. So it looked like she was swinging a baseball bat and hitting a baseball in a stadium. But then I thought, wait a minute, that's the Stadium Stampede match. What am I thinking here? That's exactly what that is. So just the way that the camera had turned, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, Stadium Stampede. Makes
Nice.
sense.
Nice.
So yeah,
Well,
I
there we
I
go.
am thoroughly excited. Again, the
Mhm.
release date. So they put the the regular December 31st, 2022 release date.
Yep.
So I'm hoping for a fall release, like hopefully like fall to winter kind of release. I'm just hoping it comes
Mhm.
out this year, to be honest with you.
Yes.
And then we can talk about that game because
Yep. Well, I'll be playing the career mode. And
I'll
and
just
and
be
probably if I can get out of the creative suite, because we know I will spend like hours creating things, right?
yeah. No, I get it. I get it. I just want to play as Kenny Omega. I just want to do
I
some
know.
V triggers and I just want to have some fun again with these games. So I'm excited.
Nice, nice. Okay. So we also have very quick Will Ospreay G1 update. He
Hmm?
lost to David Fit Finley.
He
He
does
lost to
fit. Oh,
Finley.
breaking news, guys! Breaking news! Fit Finley is back.
Yes, apparently. Well, he lost to David Finley,
Okay.
which brings his record to 2-1, and he is now second in his bracket behind David Finley, and posted a picture on his Twitter, not very, very recently, of him just sitting slouched where they do the media interviews. He's sitting on the floor with his belt behind him, looking completely dejected. So, yes. And another very quick note, did you see Dark this week?
I did see Dark this week. Yeah,
Did you see Pac versus Clark Connors?
I did, and I saw someone else there as well this week.
Yes, yes, Mr. Kip Sabian was in the audience, and he didn't just stand there unnoticed by everyone this time because Pac actually confronted
Acknowledged
him
him.
after
Yep.
the match. Yeah, had a little bit of a yelling thing at him, and yeah, yeah, what'd you think?
Well, apparently, so I don't know if this has happened before because I clearly haven't seen it, but I love how Excalibur and Taz were like, well, Kip Sabian has been following Pac through all of his matches. I didn't see him on the previous match, but whatever. But he's been following him. So that's the storyline they're going with. Kip has been following Pac, watching his matches. Kip Sabian's return is imminent. Like and also the whole point of Excalibur saying we haven't seen Kip Sabian wrestle in such a long time, but it almost seems like he's ready to go. Come on, Excalibur, you're
Hmm.
just stating the obvious right now.
Well, exactly. It bodes well for Kip Sabian's return because we've been waiting for him to come back for a while.
He did actually make his so he didn't make
Well,
his
I know.
AEW. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He made his
He fought in Rev Pro, wasn't
yeah, something like that, where he unmasked and actually fought.
it? Mm.
So it was kind of interesting. Where I think probably what happened was AEW was trying to figure out what to do with Kip. Kip got an opportunity to fight in Rev Pro or wherever it was. He did it.
Hmm.
Now they're like, wait, we got to put the mask back on because the big reveal is going to be when he comes back to AEW. And I'm happy to hear Kip Sabian's coming back. I thought he's a great wrestler. He's funny.
Yep.
Like, I just don't know what happened because he got injured, which is seriously one of the worst things. He got injured, but then he just disappeared for such a long time. Now, I'm not saying he disappeared because Tony Khan and stuff like that had anything to do with it, because they didn't know what to do with him. Maybe his injury was that serious, right?
Right.
But you know what? If you can get Kip Sabian back and healthy, hey, bring him back. AEW needs him. We need some originality again.
Absolutely. I agree completely. And I wonder too if he'll be part of the new creative talent relations group that AEW has just recently announced they're putting together. I mean, today they made a giant announcement. The head of creative, Tony Khan, announced an expansion to AEW's talent relations team with the promotions of key staff members, including Sanjay Dutt, QT Marshall, Pat Buck, and Tony Schiavone. And Madison Rayne is joining AEW as a coach in the women's division. So these are all some pretty big promotions into talent relations. Sanjay Dutt's also a vice president of creative coordination. Same with QT Marshall. Pat Buck's going into talent development, and Tony Schiavone's a special advisor to talent. So what do you think?
So I think you had said this before, that when you want to control everything, you start losing sight of everything. So, so a jack of all trades, master of none is what I'm really trying to say, right? And Tony Khan, I think he's learned his lesson. He can't do everything, right? Like, Tony Khan needs to listen to his buddy CM Punk when CM Punk said in an interview, if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together, right? And that's an awesome quote from CM Punk. And you think about it, and Tony Khan can say, you know what, this is just my decision. I'm doing this. I'm listening to the fans. I believe that to a certain extent, but I also believe this is not a knee-jerk reaction, but this is a reaction to what's been happening in WWE. Right? WWE has changed, knock on wood, for the better, I believe. Vince is out, Triple H is taking over. And from what I've been hearing about Triple H, and this is like reports from Fightful Select, stuff like that they've interviewed wrestlers since Vince's departure, and their morale is up. They're happy to be there now. They want to work for this company. And what does Triple H do? Right in his first Raw, which is technically yesterday or Monday was the first Raw, Guess who won a match? Tommaso Ciampa. He won a match beating Dolph Ziggler and I forget Chad Gable. He won a triple threat match against those. He always loses. Triple H steps in, he wins. Right? It's like these NXT wrestlers, it means something now that they're coming up. Like, look, they brought up like Bailey's back. They brought up Io Shirai. They changed her name to Io Sky. And they rehired, I'm totally blanking on the girl's name out. They rehired someone, they let go. Right? So I'm like, it's such a, like, again, Rome wasn't built in a day. There are going to be changes, but after hearing how positively SummerSlam was received, right? How positively the SmackDown and now Raw has been received, and they're saying Raw has had its highest rating for almost a year or so. So that's great. Like, I'm looking at this thinking, okay, Tony Khan, I agree. You've been listening to the fans, but you have to admit your competition, or if you will call yourself the alternative, whatever, it's getting better. Right. And the reports are there are wrestlers from other companies who said that had Triple H been in charge 10 months, a year ago, they may have reconsidered where they currently are.
Well, hindsight's 2020, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, that wasn't what happened at the time.
No.
Triple H wasn't in charge.
Yeah.
And who knows what it'll look like when those wrestlers are ready to go somewhere. The fact is, we have an interesting situation now, right?
We do.
We have WWE who's going to up their game. And I mean, remember what we're saying, up their game to a certain niche audience that this matters to. Let's keep in mind, we're still only talking about a small fraction of WWE fans. They're the hardcore fans, yes, but not a giant number, I don't believe, of WWE. They have a lot of casual fans. They have a lot of kids, It's a very different demographic overall than AEW. this kind of move, Triple H coming in, the changes, the only people that's going to attract are well, talent that's willing to work with him and knows that their talent will be appreciated under him.
Mhm.
And two, the hardcore wrestling fans who might want to give WWE a try again. The difference,
Yeah.
of course, is that WWE versus AEW, okay? The one thing AEW is always going to have that WWE will not is work rate. Remember what I was saying last week? There's a WWE style.
Yeah.
Triple
The style.
H teaches that WWE style. He was never like an independent wrestler beyond, maybe he was like way back before his Hunter Hearst Helmsley days, but he came up through that WWE system, right? He was trained there. That's what he knows, and he knows a lot about how to do that very well,
Mhm.
right? And a lot of the wrestlers that he still pushes, right? The Drew McIntyres of the world, yeah, they went out and cut their teeth a bit on like TNA and some other independent stuff and came back to WWE. But a lot of those big guys, they're still WWE wrestlers. Brock Lesnar, WWE wrestler, right? It's these guys, his core talent group, though he has some indie influence, are still WWE guys. The system is still the WWE system, right? Yeah, they can tell better stories now, I'll bet. The announcers are going to be able to actually talk,
Yeah.
which
Yep.
is nice, good. I'm so happy that, the working conditions there may return to something where people want to be there, because that's nothing but good for AEW. Nothing
Mhm.
but good. Make sure your competition is telling really good stories, because that makes you have to tell really good stories.
Exactly.
Love
Exactly.
it. Because the one difference that's always going to be between AEW and WWE is that work rate. And you know who really excels well in a work rate environment? The elite. And why are we here? Why do we watch AEW?
Because we go where the elite go. That's what I was about to say. The exact same thing. I'm like, the one thing WWE is not ever going to have are the elite. That's
Precisely.
it. That's
Precisely.
it,
And
right?
when we say that, we mean the core. Maybe, Red Dragon and Adam Cole, one day, years down the road, they go wandering back to WWE. That's fine. But the core
It's also
elite,
Adam Cole's also 7 years away. So I mean, it's gonna be a
yes,
very long
it's a very
time.
long wait, and that's okay. So we have him for, and I'm sure he's not exactly going, oh darn, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
So, yeah, no, I think we're in for a very good time in wrestling. The one thing, and I'm glad to see the hiring of Madison Rayne. I would like to see AEW put more emphasis in that women's division, because the one spot where WWE continues to kick their rears is in
Is the
women's
women's
wrestling.
agreed. I
Yeah.
100% agree on that.
So let's hope. Let's hope. The only other news note that I have is I would just like to point out that I found someone I like less than Wardlow, and that was the wrestler who's the big guy who's with Sanjay Dutt and Jay Lethal, whose name I can't remember, but it was the first time
Satnam
I've
Singh.
ever, thank you, Satnam Singh, Rampage this week. The first time I ever cheered for Wardlow was when he came out to save Orange Cassidy. And I'm like, yes, Wardlow, way to go, guy. You kill this guy I dislike more than you. Anyway, I just thought I would bring that up as a quick note on Rampage. Orange Cassidy, great. Satnam Singh, not great.
Not so great. Yep.
Okay, so do we have any other news items?
No, that was it. Those are the major ones for this
Okay.
week.
Well, we've got a card coming tonight from Columbus, Ohio. Apparently, it's their first time in Ohio. So let's go through these matches, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay. First up, we have Powerhouse Hobbs in action.
Yeah, this one they said this during the dark match yesterday during Pac's match. Um I don't know what to think about this, because whenever they say in action, I'm like, so it's a jobber. We're just gonna get a random jobber. Like maybe they're gonna get some talent from Ohio to get destroyed by Hobbs. Um, it's gonna be a squash match. It's gonna be quick. I hope it accelerates the story though. Like I want to see Ricky Starks come out and just destroy him on the mic. Don't even attack him. Just destroy him on the mic, right? And start that feud. Let it go. But apparently, Taz said during that match yesterday, he is going to address the concerns of Team Taz tonight. So again, I don't really care about this Powerhouse Hobbs match, to be honest with you. I'm more concerned about what's happening story wise.
And like this is the most interested I've ever been in any story that had to do with Team Taz. So,
True.
yeah, I mean, I'm interested in the stuff around it. You know, Powerhouse Hobbs can crush someone, that's fine. I mean, at least they continue to make him look like a big badass, which is what they've got to do with him right now, right? And whatever happens else around it, yeah, I'm interested. I would like to see what Taz has to say. I'd like to see what Ricky Starks has to say. I want to see if
Yeah.
Taz is going to kind of turn into like a good guy and follow Ricky Starks, or is he sticking with his Team Taz guys, staying kind of bad? But I mean, then his son's off with the championship, right? So there's a lot going on. There's a lot of ways this could go and shades and stuff in it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. See what happens. We then also have the interim AEW World Champion John Moxley. He's gonna cut a promo.
Yeah, he's gonna cut a promo. He's gonna be like, obviously it's gonna be about Jericho, and he's probably gonna say that he hopes Yuta beats Jericho, and Yuta probably deserves it. But I feel like he's also gonna talk about Takeshita, and he's going to basically say that Takeshita is a great wrestler because Takeshita is awesome. Just FYI, Takeshita is amazing, and Takeshita is facing him in my battle for the belts, which is Saturday. And I'm hoping for a great match, but as we say, John Moxley cuts pretty good promos. I'm not in love with all of his promos, to be completely honest with you, but I understand the fans who are. So I am more interested about his promo than the Hobbs match. Let's just put it that way, right?
Right, except Takeshita's facing Claudio Castiglione at Battle of the
Oh, did
Belts.
I mess it up? Who's fighting Moxley? Is it
I
the
don't
winner from
know,
the oh
but Takeshita's fighting Castiglione.
Castiglione? Okay, so I totally messed it up. I take it back. I take it back because I thought Takeshita was fighting Moxley.
That's okay. However, I think you're right. It's still going to be a good promo. He's going to cut it on Jericho for sure.
Of course.
Probably throw in a few cents for Wheeler Yuta and
Mhm.
beating Jericho, and but maybe throw a match down the line between Wheeler Yuta and Moxley for the belt, which would be a very good match. But I think you're right. Nothing's going to change. I think we'll get to the Jericho match in a bit, but yes, it's he's always a good listen. I'm not sure he has much to say beyond I'm gonna have a match, but we'll see. Then we have Matt Hardy versus Christian Cage.
Okay, so it's not I don't care about this match. It's just that I get what's happening here. Matt Hardy's been, apologizing to everyone for taking their money, and he's been getting beaten up and stuff like that. This is a revenge match, obviously, because Matt Hardy got destroyed by a Luchasaurus. Um, I don't know. I honestly don't know how to feel about this match. Christian Cage, good wrestler. Matt Hardy, good wrestler. Not really the wrestling that I like the most, obviously, right? So I'm kind of like I'm torn about this match because I'm like it could be really good. It can really push the story along, but I'm thinking to myself it could also be very boring, and I don't know what to think about it. So I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping it's decent. I'm hoping it pushes the story along, but I'm hoping it's just not boring. That's all I'm hoping.
Yeah, and it's got a lot of potential to be boring.
Yeah.
I mean, I just why these two guys again? It's like neither one of them have particularly great matches as single competitors anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like I don't know. I don't care. I just hope this has something to do with the Jungle Boy storyline, and that's just about it.
Yeah, and exactly that's what I'm hoping as well. But I guess we'll find out, right? I'm hoping
Yep.
this pushes the storyline.
Yep. And speaking of storylines, we also
Mhm.
have Orange Cassidy taking on Jay Lethal.
So Jay Lethal is really good. I won't take anything away from him. He's great. He's a great athlete. I just his storylines kind of suck right now. I just don't know what else to say about it. And Orange Cassidy's Orange Cassidy. Like, I mean, amazing. He's amazing. So like, I think this is going to be a good match. I think it's going to be very athletic, lots of flips, lots of Orange Cassidy ness happening, which is probably going to anger Jay Lethal and Satnam Singh and everyone. But I predict it's also going to be a save by Wardlow again. I predict the same thing's going to happen. I think they're going to start beating up Cassidy. Then the rest of the best friends are going to come in. They're going to start getting beaten up, and then Wardlow's going to come in. maybe there's going to be some type of tag match, maybe Cassidy and Wardlow versus them. Potentially, that's the story building. I have no idea. I just don't know what they're doing with Orange Cassidy right now. You know what I mean? Like, what feud is he in? Is it with like Sanjay Dutt and
Apparently, yeah.
and thing?
Apparently, he is now feuding with Jay Lethal and his boys. So yeah.
Yeah,
Which, hey, this match is going to be good until shenanigans, and it just this one reeks of shenanigans all over it.
yeah,
So I'm just
same.
thinking, yeah, it's just it's going to end in shenanigans. I think you're right. It's going to further a Wardlow and see, Satnam Singh. See, I almost
Satnam
forgot
Singh,
his name
Satnam Singh.
again. Anyway, yeah, so I think it's just going to further their feud a bit. I don't know where they're going with this. It just seems to be something that Jay Lethal and Orange Cassidy can do to kind of hold them off till they have something else for them.
Yeah,
So, I mean, the match will be good. It has a dark horse chance of taking match of the night, I think. Yeah,
maybe.
I mean,
Yeah,
you've got two wrestlers of that caliber in the ring. Dark horse chance. I think shenanigans will kill it from being match of the night, though.
yep.
So.
I
If
agree
it
with
was
that.
just straight one-on-one and we knew there was going to be no shenanigans, I'd be real tempted to pick this as match of the night. But I don't think it'll be. Next up, we have the Acclaimed, Max Caster and Anthony Bowens taking on the Gun Club, Austin Gunn and Colten Gunn in a dumpster match.
So ridiculous. Like this entire match is just a ridiculous match to even be having. Um, I want this match to be on the same level of the street fight that occurred between the best friends and Proud and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz. I don't think it's going to reach that level because that match was great. That match was really great. Now, this match can be a dark horse as well. I don't like these wrestlers are really good, like Caster and Bowens. I was gonna say Gunn, but Colten and Austin. Like Colten and Austin play that like hateable, heel, annoying role so well. They've learned that at least from their father. So well. You just want to see them get just punched in the face every single time they're out there. That but they're good. They're good wrestlers. Like, which is I give them credit. I'm like, wow, they actually do well in the ring. So this is where I'm like, this could be a dark horse. This could be a fun match. It can be a total crap show as well, right? So I'm very worried about this match. Though I think at the end of the day, these four guys, they're good. It's going to be at least a good match. But I'm warning, I'm thinking this might also be a dark horse. Potentially could be match of the night, but I'm not choosing it though.
Well, you've got better feelings about this match than I do, because I don't think as good as Colten and Austin Gunn can be.
Mhm.
I think they're too WWE floppy exaggerated to ever have a match of the night
Yeah,
because they just annoy me a little too much, even in the way they do. You're right, they're good, but they're not match of the night good, and they're certainly not Omega level good.
no.
Um, and I think this match, you're right, it has a potential to be, pardon the expression, a dumpster fire. Um, but it also, and of course, I laugh at my own jokes. And of course, it could be decent if it goes that street fight route. So I don't disagree with you. Yeah, I don't know. I just want the Acclaim to move on to someone other than the
Same,
Gun Club,
same,
and just can we just get past this, and hopefully this will end the feud. That's all I hope.
same.
So at 9:30, and coincidentally, when we may have actual ones in the sky, we have Thunderstorm, Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm, taking on Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter.
I think this match is going to be good because we have some good wrestlers in this match, right? I think Britt and Hayter will make up for some of the issues that we've been seeing recently with like Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm. Um, but my prediction is this match is actually going to be well received and not putting everyone to sleep like some of the other matches that we've seen recently. So my prediction is it's going to be a good match, but it's also going to be based on the fact that Britt and Hayter are out there.
Yeah, I can't disagree with what you're saying. It's going to be good. I think it's one of the better showings we've seen in the 9:30 slot recently. So I'm happy with that. Anytime I get to see Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter, I'm happy. Um, they can have good chemistry with Thunder Rosa. I'm still not sold on Toni Storm.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean it's I think it's got a potential to be a match where I go, yeah, I enjoyed that match. Good job. Something I'm glad I saw, and we'll move along. Then we have the last match of the night, Chris Jericho versus Wheeler Yuta for a shot at the interim AEW World Championship.
Like, I mean, if I have to choose a match of the night, it's probably going to be this one, right? I mean, like Chris Jericho has just shown me that I don't know what it is, but he's just been wrestling so much better, right? It's not slow. Like he's going with these young guys, right? Yuta, I think he's great. My only problem with Wheeler Yuta, personality. He just is lacking so much personality. He's got everything, just lacking the personality. Like he doesn't have the Danielson or the Mox personalities. He's just kind of there, right? And everything he says, you're like, I don't believe this. I don't believe you're being mean or anything like that. You seem like such a nice guy, right? So that's my problem. But anyways, besides personality, I think he can wrestle. Put him up against Jericho, it's going to be a good match. I'm fearful of the shenanigans, though. That's what I'm fearful of. I'm fearful of Jericho's going to win, but he's going to win because of Sammy. And I think that's going to set up a feud between Sammy and Yuta, which is going to be a pretty awesome feud if that happens, right? But I have a feeling Sammy's going to cause him to lose.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong. Yeah, I'm gonna have to say this will probably be my match of the night too. Again, it's tentative. Like I'm not. It's not screaming at me. You know, I mean, last
Yeah.
week it was just so obvious to me. There were
Mm-hmm.
so many candidates for match of the night, and they just seem so good. This week I'm looking at the card going, yeah, okay, I guess I see what you guys are doing, right? We had Fighter Fest for 2 weeks, we had Fight for the Fallen, and poor Columbus gets a bit of an off week, right? Because next week we then have Quake by the Lake, and we got Battle of the Belts on the weekend, so this Dynamite just feels like the forgotten child of Dynamites to me. Yeah, it's gonna be a good match. I think that these guys can go. You're right about Wheeler Yuta too. I mean, he reminds me of Daniel Bryan when he started, and I used that name on purpose when he started in WWE, and like his promos were all like white bread, smiley guy. I'm gonna give it my all, and he just seems too good and too nice. And Bryan Danielson is another creature entirely.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that tells me Wheeler Yuta can get there.
Yep.
He's
Agreed.
young. He'll get there. And a match against Chris Jericho, never going to hurt him because we know Jericho is very good at making the young guys look very
Oh
good.
yeah.
So,
100%.
yep.
100%.
Then we have the final segment, the Undisputed Elite return. Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, together in a ring again.
I was going to choose this as match of the night
Well, yeah,
as I
pretty
always
much.
wanted it to be. Because again, as I said earlier, like this is going to be great regardless of what happens, because I'm very curious when they're going to start announcing when this trios tournament is going to happen. Because once they announce that, then things are going down, right?
Hmm.
Um, I also feel like this is where Adam Cole watching the Bucks almost choosing Hangman to be their trios partner, him kind of saying like, "What's up with that?" Right? There's obviously going to be a separation in the elites. Whether or not that brings Kenny back tonight. Again, if Kenny comes back tonight, this is my Omega. This is my Omega level for the night. Okay, if
Yes.
Kenny returns tonight, but who knows? I mean, again, we know this is going to be the best segment of the night. Who knows when they're going to do it? Like if they do it right at the beginning, I'll be a little bit concerned, but like I'm just happy to see the elite back on TV again.
Yes, this would also be my match of the night. If you could choose a segment as a match, this would be it. It's the Elite in a ring. And I
Mhm.
don't care, it's the Elite in a ring. So, best group of professional wrestlers on the face of the planet. What else do you have to say? It's going to be very interesting. The tension there is very interesting. The whole adequate, now that you've pointed out the t-shirt, that makes it even more interesting. The
Mhm.
inclusion of Hangman potentially interesting. There's just so much that could happen here, and I am truly, truly intrigued with where this is going to go. And you're right, I hope it doesn't lead off the show because that would be, oh, so nothing's really going to happen.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that they start announcing, because last week they announced the belts.
Mm-hmm.
They announced that the tournament is going to be happening, but
Yep.
they never told us when it starts. So is it gonna start next week at Quake by the Lake, right? Which kind of sounds like it probably should start there because that's a big event they're having, right? And if so, then we need to know who the teams are going to be, right? So
Right, exactly. And it has to finish before All Out. Because, I mean, they're crowning the champion there.
at All Out,
Yeah, so they've got a month. Literally, they have a month. All Out is in a month.
they have a month. They have 4 shows. Like I'm talking about obviously Dynamite only, but they have
Hmm.
4 main shows where they're going to want to have these tournaments in,
Hmm.
right? So how many matches, how many entrants are going to be in here, right?
Well, I think they're going to have some of the matches on Rampage too, though, right? So you could bang the tournament off in a couple of weeks if you had to.
Yeah.
Throw a
Yeah.
match on like Elevation.
A match on Dark. It's
Yeah,
like, wait, we're having
exactly.
a trios match on Dark, all right?
Yeah, you never know, right? But yeah, no, it's very interesting, and I think you're right. I think this has a lot of implications to the Trios Championship more than anything else. I love that we care about the Trios Championship.
Remember you had said, you're like, oh, New Japan has a trios belt. Who cares about the trios belt? We care about it because the elite are involved in
Well,
it.
this
That's why
this
we
is
care
this
about
is
it.
true. I mean, the one in New Japan gets treated kind of like a joke too. So,
Yeah,
if you book a belt strong, then it stays strong.
agreed.
So I guess maybe Kenny comes back.
Fingers crossed.
Right. Well, why don't we go and find out
Let's
if
go
Kenny's
find out.
coming back? So we
Sounds
are going
good.
to go off now, watch some Dynamite, but we will be back. And although it seems like we were never gone, we have gone off and watched Dynamite, and now, as promised, we are back. And Dynamite came to us tonight from Columbus, Ohio, at the Schattenstein Center at Ohio State University. Excalibur, Tony Schiavone, and Taz start off on commentary, and we open up with Orange Cassidy's music hitting, which, by the way, love this song. The 80s keyboard in it, I realize that's what I love about it so much. Anyway, Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, and Sanjay Dutt come out next. Jay Lethal rips up a "This is awesome" sign, much to my happiness. And then, okay, so Orange Cassidy starts the match off, has Jay Lethal step back, puts his hands in his pockets, but Lethal attacks him. There's a great back and forth, ending in an arm drag exchange. Orange Cassidy does get his hands in his pocket. Lethal tries the lethal injection twice, but Orange Cassidy blocks both with his hands in his pockets. There's a tope suicida by Cassidy. Does the soft kicks to Lethal on the outside. Lethal crawls to the entrance. Satnam Singh comes out, gives Lethal an opening, but the best friends come out stacked together as a single person in a giant trench coat, which allows Orange Cassidy to return Lethal to the ring. Now, this is where essentially the funny shenanigan stuff stops, because Orange Cassidy does a crossbody, but his DDT is countered into a vicious dragon screw, and this totally changes the match. Lethal starts to work on Orange Cassidy, works over the foot, pounds it on the steps on the outside, locks it behind the steps, kicks the steps into Orange Cassidy's leg, gets him in the ring. He just keeps working the leg, stomps, shin breakers, stomps with the leg on the rope. Cassidy tries to run into the corner, but you can see him hopping on the foot. He's selling that foot like crazy. Lethal does an avalanche dragon screw to him, then a figure four in the center, but Orange Cassidy manages to roll to the ropes. Lethal goes for a delayed vertical, but Orange Cassidy gets the stun dog millionaire. But Lethal counters into a backbreaker flatliner combo for a near fall. He tries the elbow. Orange Cassidy rolls to the corner and actually poses. Orange Cassidy tries to climb the ropes, but Lethal gets to him. Cassidy beats him down, gets the diving DVT and the spinning DDT for a big near fall. Tries the orange punch, but just collapses on that leg. It's had enough. Lethal tries to lift him up. Counter into a beach break for near fall. Another orange punch try, but this one doesn't work either. Lethal tries for the figure four. Orange Cassidy rolls him up, kick out, lethal injection, and that's it. Orange Cassidy goes down for the 3 count. Before we get to the aftermatch, Krishna, what did you think?
It was a good match. I mean, I was shocked by the end of the match. I mean, Orange Cassidy gets pinned cleanly. Lethal just beat him. Like he just beat him. There were like, yeah, shenanigans outside the ring, but he just beat him. That was it. Like, yeah, he worked his leg. Yeah, those dragon screws to his leg were vicious, and it wasn't like Cassidy was limping and then suddenly he could do all this like his moves. He sold it. Like it looked like he was hurt. That's why I was like shocked. I was like when they pinned him, I was like, okay, it's a good match, but my whole confusion is like, okay, I get what they're doing with Lethal's character, but what are they doing with Orange Cassidy? Like, when did Orange Cassidy become a jobber here, right? I'm sorry, did we not just see like an amazing Cassidy versus Will Ospreay match at Forbidden Door? Like, didn't that just blow our socks off? And now Orange Cassidy is like, I'm not gonna say jobbing to Lethal, but like he beat him fair and square, like fair, which I'm all about matches finishing like that, but a little bit shocked. So good match. I just don't know what they're doing with Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends.
Well, I would agree with you there. I'm not sure what they're doing with Orange Cassidy. I loved this match.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it had the right combination. The shenanigans were over with early, and then it just became a clean match
Mm-hmm.
between Jay Lethal and Orange Cassidy, and we really got to see Jay Lethal in a spotlight here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could see how good this guy is and all the stuff that he was doing to Orange Cassidy. He just, you know me, I love it when a guy isolates a part and just takes guy apart, even if it's one of my favorite guys in Orange Cassidy. And to highlight it, Orange Cassidy, he made that leg look
Yeah.
like it had been killed. So, I mean, really good job, guys. I was very impressed with this match. I think that it demonstrates to an audience who may not necessarily have seen Jay Lethal much on AEW, right? He's been kind of buried in the background,
Mm-hmm.
bit of Rampage, bit of Dark, ROH, right? This is really his first chance to have a really shining match in Dynamite, to my recollection. I mean, if he's had one before, I don't remember it. This one I'll remember, right? Because this was a really good match. And I think this is what Orange Cassidy's good for. He puts on these really memorable matches with people,
Yeah.
right?
True.
And I I would love to see him get another push. I want to see him put forward more, but he did a really good job here, right? And I love the guy, and I'd love to see him get more, but I'm not going to take anything away from this extremely good match that although not my match of the night, could have come very, it was sitting in contention in my brain most of the night for me. So okay, well, after the match, Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh come out, and Sanjay Dutt has questions for
Jay Lethal.
Jay Lethal. Yes, thank you. He says, Wardlow came out during your match on Rampage. Do you have any thoughts? Lethal says, well, Wardlow stuck his nose in our business to defend his new friend, Orange Cassidy. Well, Wardlow, I'm going to break Orange Cassidy's legs now. You might want to come out. So the best friends come out with Wardlow, and they run off the Deadamaniacs. Wardlow challenges Lethal, but Dutt says, hey, Battle of the Belts 3, put the title on the line against this man. Wardlow gets the mic. Columbus, Ohio, welcome to Wardlow's World, in his best WWE promo style. I don't care where we fight. The end result is Wardlow is going to whoop that ass.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't even think AEW knows what they're doing with Wardlow, to be honest with you. Like, the Wardlow's World thing comes off as a joke because, like, all I could think of this was the '90s cartoon Bobby's World, and every time he says Wardlow's World, I was like, all I'm hearing is Bobby's World. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Um, so yeah, uh, I don't care for this match, and I mean, like, we'll talk about Battle of the Belts coming up. I'll to get like the matches that they announced, not the greatest show. I'm just gonna say right now, I'm not really hyped for that show at all. Like, there's one match I'm really excited to see, but like besides that, I'm like, oh, okay, sure. But yeah, this promo is like this entire episode of Dynamite feels a lot like just things happen, right? Like, I remember my one of my favorite people on YouTube, Simon Miller, making fun of WB at some points, is saying, WB, things just happen, right? And my feeling throughout this show was, wow, there are a lot of things happening here abruptly. And we're going to get into that very quickly, but a lot of things just happening. So that's going to be my theme throughout the show. A lot of things happen in this very quickly.
Yeah, so like I said before before we got to this point in our
Mm,
preview, this is really like the filler Dynamite between three really good Dynamites, and then what will likely be next week a really good Dynamite. And then
And
they've
you're
also
right.
got to plug Battle of the Belts, and they got to
And
plug
yeah,
Rampage,
you're
and
definitely
yeah,
definitely right. Like
yep,
when like we're gonna get into it obviously, but
hmm
yeah, you were definitely right.
right. And then something else happened. Adam Cole's music hits,
Yeah.
and the Undisputed Elite comes out, and Adam Cole grabs the mic, and he's like, "Who's ready for story time with Adam Cole, baby?" First, my God, does it feel good to be back in the ring. It feels great to be back in the ring with my friends because I do have unfortunate news. I'm not medically cleared. But I've taken this time to think and process things. There's the success of the Undisputed Elite, things that we can work on, though. A great leader, you figure out what you can fix. And, but we also have great chemistry, and we have that in spades. We've got talent. We got 5 of the very best, and loyalty, fighting alongside your brothers no matter what. We have that too. I came to AEW because of the Young Bucks. That's loyalty. I've traveled up and down the globe my whole career with these guys, meaning Red Dragon, and that's loyalty. Loyalty is power, loyalty is success, loyalty is everything. Which brings me to the Trios tournament. Matt, Nick, there's nothing I would love more than for the Undisputed Elite to be the winners of the Trios tournament. If I'm not cleared and Kyle isn't and Bobby Fish isn't your partner, you can't do the tournament. And at this point, the Bucks turn on him and are like, what? And he said, no, okay, I'm sorry. I'm not using my words right. What I mean is you won't be physically capable of doing the tournament. And that's when Red Dragon attacks the Bucks from behind and begin to beat them down, and then they beat down Brandon, and Adam Cole is screaming, "You think I'd forget?" at them, and they get a chair. I'll stop there for just a quick second. I'll finish it. Hangman then comes running out, rescues them, crowd goes insane. He does a slow turn to the Bucks. He helps Matt up off the mat, and then he leaves.
Yeah. Um I was torn with this entire promo. Like I saw it happened quickly because they showed something else happened right before the promo. Like they showed like, hey, just on they had mentioned some quick like comment about another match, and they showed something, and then right away they switched back and the elite came out.
Yeah, it was
So
the
I'm like, okay,
Hobbs and
that
Starks thing. They were
Hobbs and
recapping,
Stark,
yeah.
yeah, really quick. So I'm like, okay, interesting how they did the Hobbs and Stark thing. Then they just suddenly cut back. Anyways, regardless, this is what I'm talking about. A lot of stuff just randomly happening through this show. Is almost as if the direction was a little bit all over the place. Yeah. So the Undisputed Elite comes out right away. I was like, wow, it looks like O'Reilly and Fish are flanking the Bucks. They're standing right outside of them right now. Right, the Bucks are on the inside focusing on Cole. I'm like, okay, this is where the turn is gonna happen. Disappointment right away when Cole was like, I'm not medically cleared. I was like, boo. Damn it. Right. And then he's like, O'Reilly's not ready to go. And I'm like, oh, for F's sake, are you kidding me? So they're like, wait. So yeah, he's right. They're not going to choose Bobby Fish. They're lost. Bobby Fish is awesome. And then the beatdown happens really quick. I was like, okay, that was not even like a little bit of a build up. It's like right away. They're like, guys, we're cutting everything. They're beating them up. This is where I thought, oh my God, could this be the time? Right. And then Hangman Page's music hit, and I was like, oh, like part of me, I'm happy, but most of me just sank right into my stomach. And I was like, oh, okay. I get it. Realistically, they've been setting this up. Like I saw it coming. Like, part of me was like, oh, maybe it's Kenny, but it ended up being Hangman Page. Hangman Page comes out with a save. First of all, what the hell was Hangman Page wearing? Does he try to outdo himself every week with having the worst, like worst clothing to wear to the ring? I was like, Hangman, what? Anyways, besides the point, like when Kenny and the Bucks would come out and they come out in their flashy clothing and stuff like that, and it's just hilarious to see them. Hangman, you're kind of like, what are you wearing? Like what? Anyways, he comes out, does a save, whatever. This segment ends, and I'm like, man, I didn't really like that much, but it's because I was overhyped for a potential return with Omega. I just felt it was a little bit rushed. I would have enjoyed more time, actually, with Adam Cole talking a little bit more, explaining things. But I guess the build up from the weeks past with being the elite, like Cole watching the interaction with the Bucks and Hangman, and everything makes sense. Like nothing doesn't make sense here. I just wanted more, and I just kind of felt a little bit let down, to be completely honest. I haven't seen the Undisputed Elite in the ring for months, I would say, and this is the first time we see them. And I was like, okay, I guess that's it. I was so I'm not gonna say I'm disappointed, even though I am a little bit disappointed. I just thought, man, maybe Kenny was coming back. And I was like, okay, sure, we're going down this path. Sure. The one reason I'm a little bit upset, Bill, and I'm hoping this doesn't happen. Okay, I'm fingers crossed this doesn't happen. I don't want this to happen. I don't want the Bucks and Hangman versus Kenny and X Team, because Kenny and X Team, I have a feeling it's going to be the Good Brothers, and I hate the Good Brothers. I hate them so much, and I cannot, like, as much as I'd be happy to see Kenny here, I can't cheer for the Good Brothers. I just can't do it. Okay, I'm not going to. I'm just not going to do it. But this is me again. I am booking in my head. I am listening to rumors and stuff like that. But I don't know, Bill. I've ranted too much on this. What did you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, you watch way too much YouTube. You just gotta stop with all the
No,
rumors and
I
stuff.
can't. I can't do it.
Yeah, I know you can't. I know you can't. See, I'm in the generation where it's like, why on earth do I want to watch that much stuff that I have no guarantee it's gonna happen? I don't like rumors. Yeah, I think I had a different reaction to this segment because you see, Krishna, you're your own worst enemy. Every week you're like, Kenny's back! And then every week he's not.
I was let down.
They should have just told you his timing is still unknown, right?
They should have. They should have.
Now you're expecting him every single week. They're not going to use him in an 8:30 segment
That's yes.
coming out with this. The minute they came out, I'm like, well, Kenny's not coming back. I'm like, okay, so I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the segment. No problem. And you're right, they've been setting up Hangman for this for ages, right? And it's not completely over. Hangman doesn't look sure of the Bucks at all. So I'm okay with that. And, Adam Cole and Red Dragon, well, you guys are no longer part of the Elite. So, I go where the Elite goes. Yeah, you guys are great. I love you. You're great wrestlers, but you're dead to me. So, you beat down the Bucks. And you know what this means? You know what I really love about this? Brandon Cutler might not have to be a complete moron anymore.
You mean he's going to be fed to are you think this is going to change the Bucks?
Well, no, I
Into
mean,
good
it won't
guys?
change the Bucks. Remember Brandon Cutler pre-heel turn? He was at least, somewhat effective and just the guy with the camera and could fight some decent matches. Now he's a clown, right?
Yes.
So I'm just kind of hoping to get a return to a more effective Brandon Cutler, who I know was in there. I mean, he's a really good wrestler.
Well, I feel they're gonna feed him to Red Dragon. Just gonna feed him.
Probably, but that's okay. They're allowed to. They're the young Bucks. So yeah, I enjoyed this. I thought the turn was fine. His speech about loyalty, that was your sign that the turn
Yeah,
was
you knew
coming
it
right there.
immediately.
Yeah. When he
Yeah.
said, I came to the company because of the young Bucks, but these guys I've traveled the world with, right? And the whole thing about you just knew it was coming. So I'm okay with it. I think it brings up interesting stuff about the Elite. I do not think we're getting Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers of all people. I don't even see that as a remote possibility, but I guarantee that
All
this will
right.
not happen.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
We
you are
will
not
see.
getting Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers.
All right. Okay.
You will get Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay tag teaming before you
Yeah,
get Kenny Omega
right.
and the Good
In
Brothers.
my dreams,
Yeah.
that's gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, there you go. They go straight from this to a John Moxley promo, and he says, tonight, the last survivor of the Heart Dungeon faces the first survivor of the Blackpool Combat Club. Then they face me. Everyone asks, who do I want to win? I don't care. They look at me like I'm crazy, but I don't care is not a stock answer. I don't care. When the bell rings, I have no respect for anybody. I'm trying to hurt my opponent. I'm trying to break his face. I'm going to litter the canvas with his teeth. I do it every night, no days off. It's why I'm the best. The Blackpool Combat Club will make the Heart Dungeon look like a daycare. They both know me well enough to know when they show up next week, they better be ready. This is my life. When you step in the ring with me, this is not a game.
Well, I said it. I was expecting a John Moxley promo. I got a John Moxley promo, right? I did like his little comment about making the Heart Dungeon feel like a daycare. Okay, whatever. But it's gonna be good. I mean, he every time I hear a John Moxley promo, I'm always thinking, is this them just trying to remind everyone John Moxley is the champion? Because that he wrestles a lot. But think about it. Chris Jericho has wrestled almost every single week, right? I'm a little shocked at that actually that he's even wrestling that much. So like I get it. I get what's happening. Like, yeah, it's a good promo, but as I said, I expected a John Moxley promo. I got a John Moxley promo. I could take it or leave it. So really, that's how I felt about it.
I don't know. I love John Moxley promos. I love watching him cut promos. The guy's grown on me so much. I don't know. I love his promo. I love the idea of littering the ring with people's teeth. It's just such a great image in my mind. I'm like, yeah, okay. And he just every time he does this, I'm like, you think wrestling is real.
Real.
Like he just comes across that way. It's so great. So yeah, no, and he's been wrestling a fair bit too, though.
He's been no, he's no. I'm not saying
yeah.
he's not been wrestling.
He hasn't been
Uh,
wrestling as much as
a
Jericho.
lot. I'm just saying, yeah, I've noticed Jericho's been wrestling a lot
Yeah,
recently, right?
but I mean they both really have.
Mm-hmm.
It's been pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was a good promo. Then we go into the back because earlier today Christian was with Toni in the parking lot, and Toni cornered him and said, blah blah Jungle Boy, and Christian Cage said, Jungle Boy was raised by terrible human beings. He brought my family into it. It's something
I
I'd
would never
never
do that.
do. Then Jungle Boy drives in and
Tries to kill him.
tries to kill him, runs him over. Security tries to run him over. Security grabs Jungle Boy and is dragging him out of the thing, and Jungle Boy is literally screaming, "I'm going to kill you!"
Kill you. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
I laughed at this promo
Mm.
because just like Christian, he brought my family into something I would never do. I'm like, what? and then, and
Oh.
then of course Jungle Boy racing. Yo, that car flew in there. I was like,
Oh yeah.
this is gonna I'm gonna talk about two dangerous things that happened tonight that AEW has to be very careful of. This is one of those dangerous things that I'm like, guys, I get it. I get it. He was running in. But when that car didn't stop and kept going, I'm like, did he really try to run them over with the car? Right? I fully expected Christian to be on top of the car or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just it's just it's again, like Simon Miller always says, when people make threats like I'm going to kill you, how come there aren't cops there to arrest them and charge them?
Well, Christian was yelling, "Arrest this man!"
Exactly. But again, this is I had fun with this. It's
Yeah.
funny. It's ongoing and yeah, Christian is just fantastic and he's building Jungle Boy so much. So this is good.
Yeah, no, I loved it too. I was laughing my ass off, and yeah, it was great. Classic Christian, great scene, really intense. Jungle Boy yelling, "I'm going to kill you." It was sports entertainment, but with an edge to it. So
Yep.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, and then I suffered a terrible moment of confusion, just
Huh?
horrible moment of confusion because it was only like 8:30, and then like
The
Britt
women's
Baker's
match.
music hits. I'm
The
like,
women's
wait a
match.
second, seriously?
Yep.
But this is very interesting. So, Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter come down, accompanied eventually by
By
Rebel
Rebel. Yeah.
as they are announced, and then Tony's terrible music hits, which is made even more terrible coming on after Britt Baker's pretty cool music. So, yeah, and then they come down. Thunderstorm comes down. So it starts off with Britt and Rosa in the ring, but it breaks down to like a free for all pretty fast. The crowd seems pretty split between Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa.
Mhm.
Britt goes for a crossface but gets countered by Rosa twice. Rosa does a backdrop kick to Hayter on the ropes, leading to a Thunderstorm working Hayter over. There's some good quick tag sequences between them. Then Hayter manages to distract the ref, though, and Britt stops Rosa from a run. Hayter decks her, they go to work on Rosa. So then Britt spends quite a bit of time working on Rosa, some neck-wrenching submissions. You see Hayter run around the other side of the ring and take out Storm and kind of laughs about it. But then Rosa gets an enziguri, Britt tags out, Rosa gets a jawbreaker on Hayter, and finally gets the hot tag. Storm comes in with a high cross body, then her rolling DDT on Britt, then another high cross body to Hayter. and a water wheel drop to Hayter that looked like she set her down gently for two. Rosa tagged in. Hayter blocked a double vertical and suplexes both of them. Britt tags in, but Rosa with the Death Valley driver. Rebel distracts Storm, though. Rosa gets tossed. Britt does an avalanche air raid crash to Storm, and then a combo from Hayter and Britt ending with a curb stomp. But Rosa interrupts this pin with a top rope dive that was just out of nowhere and looked crazy. Rosa and Britt go at it until there's another air raid crash. Storm comes back, but you get a Hayter backbreaker on her. All four of them are down in the ring at this point. Mirror Germans by Rosa and Storm to Hayter and Britt. There's double hip attacks then by Toni Storm. She's doing this like back and forth where she's hip attacking everything that moves, but then Britt moves out of the way and Storm hip attacks Rosa. Britt throws Storm into Hayter for the Hayter's lariat finisher. 1, 2, 3, and it's over. Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter win.
Yeah, cleanly. And you know, I thought as I saw Britt and Hayter, Jamie walking down to the ring in their matching outfits, I must add, I thought to myself, you know, AEW really do need the women's tag team championships, right? Because as you can see, they're pushing these tag matches more than anything else, right, to get the women on there. So I wouldn't mind seeing that. The match itself, I thought it was great. I thought again, this is what happens when you have three women who have pretty good chemistry together. I say three because I look at Toni Storm as she fights like a big, one of Vince McMahon's big guys. They have a very clear move set that they use, and once that move set's over, they've got nothing, right? All I kept seeing were those tornado DDTs and the stuff like that, and I was like, oh, she hit another one. Oh wait, there's another one. Oh, well, now she did another one off the rope. I'm like, holy cow, do another move.
She did the cross body.
The cross. Oh yeah, sorry. And the cross, sorry, her second move, the cross body, right? Yes. And the hip attack. I forgot that one as well. Yeah. But smartly, they paired her up with Thunder Rosa, right? And they put them up against Britt and Jamie, right? I'm happy that they made Jamie look strong in this match, right? Like when she did the double reversal where she flipped both of them, I was like, that's more like a face move, not a heel move, right? Like most of the faces do that. They're like, oh, they flip them over, and they gave her the win. Like she was the one that pinned Toni Storm, right? So I'm like, okay, that's good. Like I really, this was a great match, and I knew it right from the beginning. The minute I saw the fact that, you know, remember we talked about timing and stuff like that. The timing was so much better on this match, right? And everything looked like, you know, there weren't many, I should say, botches or anything like that. It was so fluid. I'm like, you know what? This is what the matches need to be like. Have more of your matches, AEW, like this, right? Like obviously, Madison Ray's there now as a coach. Hopefully she can help some of these, I guess, less seasoned. Okay, so I said less seasoned. Britt Baker posted on Twitter yesterday that 7 years ago today, I had my first match.
Yes. Which means she's been wrestling less time than Toni Storm.
Exactly. So I'm like, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just practice, right? And dedication. And I'm not saying Toni Storm is not dedicated. I'm just saying what I'm seeing, still, there's a little bit of a disconnect here, right? But overall, that aside, I thought the match was great. I thought the match did its job. I thought it was fun. It had its shenanigans. It was like the first match where everything kind of happened, but at the end, it was a clean win. Like they were all in there, and that was a clean win, right? So I thought this was one of the better women's matches that I've seen on. I was gonna say, I keep wanting to say Rampage, but Dynamite for a while now.
Yeah. First of all, I would like to thank Triple H for this match. I have a sneaking feeling that the sudden thrusting forward of the WWE women's division may have just gotten a bit of a response tonight and may have pushed the women in AEW to perform at another level, because this was a really good match in a very interesting place on the card. And I immediately thought, well, isn't this interesting? They moved the women's match. Remember what I was saying about, you know, this kind of competition is only going to breed better stuff? This was better stuff.
Agreed.
This was a very good match. It was a good story between two tag teams that hate each other. They just pounded the crap out of
They
each
did.
other in this match. There was a lot of good double teaming. There was a lot of good stuff going on. The only point where I was like, was that move that Toni Storm pulled, where I said it looked like she set her gently down on the mat.
Yeah.
But that was the only time that I was like, oh. Other than that, man, they gave everything in that ring tonight. It was great. I mean, they even got the "This is awesome" chant from the crowd.
Yes. Exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah, the women earned it tonight. Great clean finish. I love the spotlight on Jamie Hayter. She
Hmm.
came out of this looking like a beast. I love the fact that her and Britt looked like an awesome tag team
Tag team.
together. Yeah,
Yep.
it was Thunderstorm versus another awesome tag team. So
Yep.
yeah, enjoyed this a lot. It was even in my contenders for match of the night.
Ooh. Okay. Okay.
So yeah, yeah, great match. Loved it. So then the music comes on, and we see Sammy and Ty Conti in Paris, the Eiffel Tower in the background, and Sammy announces, "We're getting married." And this, you get this voiceover from someone who sounds like Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, going, "Last June, Sammy proposed to Ty Conti here. Now they are busy getting married, and they won't be there tonight. Be mad." And then suddenly you hear Eddie Kingston's voice. "Cut this crap. Why am I hearing about some kid getting married? Why don't I get a little thing so I can look like a moron? Nobody cares about your marriage. Money's not going to buy your house. Listen, check your mail, sign the contract. We have unfinished business."
Yeah. This is see, I love Eddie Kingston promos. Eddie Kingston, to me, he's the one who's like who doesn't understand wrestling's a work, right? So I love the fact he's like, cut it, just cut it. He's like, how come I don't get that, right?
Yeah.
And then he's like, he challenges Sammy,
Yeah.
which I believe now is the first announced match for All Out, because he said, "I'll see you at the pay-per-view."
Mm-hmm.
And then Excalibur, I believe, just was like, "Oh my god, he just challenged Sammy to a match at the pay-per-view. Will Sammy accept?" I'm like, "Oh, so this is the first." And I'm thinking about that. I'm like, Sammy versus Eddie. I'm not a huge fan of Eddie Kingston's wrestling abilities. And it's just such a stark contrast between the high flying of Sammy versus like the slower wrestling of Eddie. But who knows? At this point, like it might be a good match. But hey, at least we got one announced match for All Out so far.
Yes. Yeah, and you know what? I mean, assuming, of course, Sammy picks up his mail, right? If the guy doesn't go and get his mail, he's not getting the contract, apparently.
Fair, yeah.
So But yeah, no, I laughed the minute he interrupted, and he was like, why don't I get a little thing so I can look like a moron?" Right? I loved it. It was so funny. He has no idea wrestling is fake. Anyway, and then they recap Hobbs' attack on Starks. And Taz said, he didn't know that would happen. He didn't know there'd be an open challenge. He didn't know Hook would accept. He had no idea about any of this. They'd all kept him in the dark. He told all three of them, "Look, there's no more Team Taz." He wishes nothing but the best to all three of them, but he's done.
Yeah, I kind of cheered a little bit for this. I was like, yeah, good. They don't need Team Taz, these guys, right? Like Team Taz was great at the beginning, but Ricky Starks needs a huge push. He needs a huge push right now. And Hook needs to do something, I guess, right? Because what is he really doing? So he has the FTW championship, whatever. And then of course, we'll talk about Starks in a bit. But yeah, I'm okay with this ending.
Yes. And it's sad though, because I just said, I'm the most interested in Team Taz I've ever been. And then there's no more
And then they're
Team
gone.
Taz. And speaking of them, Hobbs then comes out. Taz comments that Hobbs best beware because Starks is going to get him some of Hobbs. But Hobbs is going to face Ren Jones. Hobbs kills him in 2 minutes. Do you have any comments on the
No,
match?
we knew it was gonna be a squash
Yeah.
match. Like
Okay,
that's
so he
it.
killed him. Okay, Ren Jones is dead. Starks comes out, his music hits, but Starks, he's not coming out. I don't even know why he bothered with the music, but he
Yeah.
hit the music and just charges the ring and
Louds.
goes to
Yeah.
town. Starks gets his push in on the ref and shoves him down. But Hobbs gets that distracts, Starks long enough. Hobbs grabs him, spine buster, and just leaves Starks laying in the ring. And Starks is just pissed. You can see the look on his face as he's staring at Hobbs as Hobbs backs away from the ring.
Yeah, this match, you could tell this is gonna be a match at All Out. It has to be. Like, there's going to be a build up and stuff like that. But they're going to come to a collision course at All Out. That's my prediction for this one. So yeah, I mean, it's. I was a little shocked. I thought the fight between them would have gone a little bit longer, but they are
Hmm.
building. Obviously Hobbs as this monster in comparison to Starks, right? So
Right.
yeah, I mean, it's continuing the story, so I'm okay with it.
Right. Well, and just after this, I'm also okay with it. Yeah, it's going to be a good match. I liked Stark's intensity. I like the fact that he was not going to just come out and say something. He is mad beyond belief. I thought it was kind of funny. The ref got shoved down by him, but then was like, "Are you okay, man?" Coming over to help
Yeah.
him. It's like, nah, that ref, he's a good soul. Turn the other cheek, kind of ref. I like him. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, it's doing what it needs to do. I think you're probably right. We'll probably see this at All Out. Something else that might be moving towards All Out too. We then go to Miro, and Miro says, "My God, what can I trust? Did you send the visitor to talk to me? She's been telling me things. But when it comes to men, evil doesn't need a mask. It needs time. In the end, everyone reveals themselves, and you know the Redeemer will too."
Yeah, these cryptic messages by Miro, I didn't even expect it. And she's talking to me. Like, who is he referring to, right? Is it Julia, what's her name? Julia
Julia Hart.
Hart. For some reason I want to call her Julia Stiles. I'm like, no, that's not right. But I don't know. I don't know where this is going because he's still covered, he's still wearing his sunglasses, and when he was talking, his the part of his face that was had the black stuff on it was covered as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, interesting, what is happening? Is he going to turn? How are they going to come into, like, a lot of questions left unanswered is really what I'm trying to say here, right?
Yep.
So I don't know. I liked it. Like, obviously it's Miro, I love it, but I don't know what's going to happen going forward.
Yeah, no, I love the promo too. I think it's probably Julia Hart talking to him, but it's really hard to tell where he's going, and that intrigues me, which makes this a good promo because I don't know what's happening. Is he? Won't he? Will he? Who knows? I just enjoy listening to him go back and forth with Malachi Black. So
Yep, agreed.
that was just the first hour of Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
So they
As I
come
said,
back.
things happen. A lot of things
A
happen.
lot of things happened, and it's a couple of pretty darn good matches too.
Mhm.
So that was just the first hour. Second hour, Darby opens it up with a promo, and he says, the part of the story you don't want to tell anyone, Brody King, is how you got into AEW. I told Tony Khan to hire you. That burns you up. You're trying to build your name off me now. I want you to know that you asked for this match. This hand is the last thing you will see before I shut the lid on your coffin. And he was doing something to his hand, but I couldn't fully see what he was doing. What was he doing?
Tattooing his hand.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you hear that it was like bzzz, and he was like
Oh, yeah.
drawing on his
I
hand. That's
was
why
so
he showed
busy
his
trying
hand.
to keep up with his promo
Yeah,
that, yeah.
yeah, and then he
Cool.
showed his hand, and on his hand was the tattoo that said, "This coffin is for you, Brody King," or something like that. Or you will lie in this coffin, or something. And I'm like, I really hope Darby didn't tattoo his hand for real. But I'm like, you know what? Part of me thinks he did. So he's that
That's his
nuts.
permanent tattoo on his hand now. Someday his grandkids will be like, "Daddy, can you tell us about when you got that hand tattoo?" Yeah, good times. What'd you think of the promo?
It was good. It was good. It was a good promo. I mean, it's building up to next week, right? They have to Quake at the Lake. They're fighting each other. Don't know what's gonna happen, but if this is the second match, because I don't really count the elimination tournament thing as a match. So this will be the second match. I'm assuming Darby's going to win. I think it's going to happen like Darby wins all of the coffin matches. That's probably the way it's going to start working. So I'm feeling Darby's going to win this one. And maybe, hey, maybe the rubber match is going to be at uh, All
All
Out.
out.
Right. So
Could be.
it was a good promo. Good promo, I thought.
Yeah, yeah, it was fine. No, I think it's a Darby style promo, and it was interesting because I like how they brought the history into it, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
well, I got you into AEW, and now you're just trying to make your name off me, and it's eating you alive. So I'm a little under your skin here, right? I
Yeah.
like that because it adds another layer to their feud that wasn't there before. So yes, our next match is Christian versus Matt Hardy. Christian has amazing theme music and has been into the spray tan again. But, I could recap this match. But instead, I'm going to recap it in the style of the Spanish soccer announcers on the Simpson episode. Oh my god, Matt walks straight at Christian and they fight. There's shoulder blocks in the corner. Christian punches him, and then Matt punches him and punches him off the ring post. Matt smashes his head into the ring and then into the rail. But wait, no! Christian punches him again, blocking a side effect. So Matt gets in the ring and he punches Christian, and then head into the turnbuckle for the delete hits, pull from the corner into a air quotes powerbomb. But Christian gets out of the ring, so Matt pursues him, and guess what he does? Oh my god, I can't believe it. He punches him, and then Christian shoves him into the stairs. Christian does a running knee on Matt in the steps for the first really big move of the match, but Matt gets back in the ring. Christian stomps him, then picks him up after a while. Neck breaker, pulls his nose, and then shoves his face on the ropes. Oh no, but Matt punches him back, and then there's more punches and kicks, and then a snapmare into a reverse chin lock, and the crowd is going not insane. Matt punches him some more. Christian punches back. They go to the top rope, but Matt stops him, climbs. Oh, a superplex. Matt gets the near fall. Christian punches him some more. Matt punches him back, and then there's a back body drop. Christian gets him in the corner. Guess what? Punches him 10 times. This is where the match goes truly nuts, though, people. You thought it was insane then. Now it goes insane. Hardy goes to the second rope for a standing elbow drop. Twist of fate is blocked, but a pendulum kick. They're both on the ropes. Matt back body drops off the ropes. Diving elbow drop off the middle rope for a near fall. That's right, folks, the middle rope. Kill switch is countered. Christian Cage rope whiplash to Matt. A diving headbutt by Christian for 2. But then an outside rope punch by Christian gets in. A side effect for 2 again. Side effect on the apron, which JR says rightly might as well be the damn sidewalk. Matt gets a table, gets Christian on it, and you know what he does to him on the table? He punches him. Matt tries an elbow drop, but no, Christian moves. Matt goes through the table. Christian gets him back in the ring. Oh my god, the kill switch for 3. What a match. 7 stars.
Yeah. This match, it went down the way I expected it to go down. Like when I heard Christian versus Matt Hardy, I was like, oh, is this like a WWE match? So what I'm gonna see here?
7 stars.
And yeah, it went on longer than I thought it was going to go on, to be honest with you. I was like, you guys could have had that Hobbs match that was like 2 minutes. You guys can have a 2-minute match. I don't know why you needed to have like 10 minutes to do all this stuff. And when the announcer's like they've known each other for 23 years. And I'm like, okay, but yeah, they're not in their prime anymore. And they're not, yeah, great. They've known each other. They fought each other for 23 years, but what I saw today was just them punching. You're right, just punching back and forth. Not really like many moves at all, right? I think they tried to pretend it was a fight, right? But I'm like, I'm just kind of bored. I was just kind of bored the entire match. I was happy when it ended, and that was it. Yeah, I was just happy when it ended.
So you're saying my recap of the match should not excite you anymore about this match?
It's not an Omega level match. It's close, but it's not an Omega level match.
You're saying I've exaggerated by giving it 7 stars?
Just a tad. Like, I mean, okay. maybe 6.5 stars, but I mean,
right. Well, now I'm going to recap the match as the North American soccer people. Stuff happened. They punched each other a lot. There were some moves. I mean, in a league where you've got, Wheeler Yuta and Orange Cassidy and Dante Martin and Matt Hardy doing an elbow drop off the second rope is just like, why am I watching this? Why is this happening on my TV screen? And this was the 9 o'clock hour match. So they thought this match would keep people on the TV that were flipping around after the 8 o'clock shows were over.
Yep.
This match. Yeah.
Stuff happened.
That's all I'm saying. In the match. And it's like, yeah, there were so many punches. It was just punches and more punches and punches. And it's like, oh, am I really watching a WWE match right now? Because that's exactly a long, drawn-out WWE match. As long and drawn out as my commentary on the match. So that means I've talked too much about it. 1 star. Move along. After the match, Christian gets a couple chairs, goes for the concerto on Matt, but Luchasaurus interrupts. Jungle Boy ambushes Christian from behind. Christian gets away, and the crowd loves singing.
Yeah, yeah. Again, continue the story. That swing that Jungle Boy took, I swear, like when Christian ducked, like, wow, that almost took his head, his head off. Holy crap!
He's
Um,
trying to kill him.
he's trying to kill. He said, "I'm going to kill you," right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe it now. But yeah, no, I like it. We knew this was going to happen. Like, no, if anyone thought Jungle Boy wasn't showing up again, you've got to be crazy, all right? But yeah, it's doing its job. It's continuing the storyline. My assumption is, again, this is a match for the pay-per-view, so we're gonna get a couple more weeks of this until he's forced into like maybe a steel cage with Jungle Boy or something like that, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it'll be like a cage match or something,
Yeah,
or like no interference match
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah,
something
yeah.
silly like that. But speaking of not silly, we then go in the back for a Daniel Garcia promo. And he says, I am the Dragon Slayer. I am the greatest technical sports entertainer of all time. Danielson, come back. I've got your number. I'll slay the dragon again.
He's so he's so ridiculous. I just love how he throws in sports entertainer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like everything. Like they've trained themselves that any time they are thinking about saying wrestler, it's automatic sports entertainer.
Mm-hmm.
I love Daniel Garcia, man. This guy is so awesome. Again, another prediction is their round two is going to be at All Out, where Danielson is healthy again, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
remember he came back too early, so that's everything. So he wants Brian Danielson at his best. Oh,
Yep.
he's gonna get Brian Danielson at his best, and he's going to get destroyed at All Outs. So
Possibly.
he's
I
not the
think it's
Dragon
going to be
Slayer.
good, though. Yes.
Yeah.
And then we had a recap about what we were talking about earlier. Pac defended, the All Atlantic Championship, but they mentioned Kip Sabian and that Pac has had it with Kip following him around the world.
So great, as we talked about earlier. Great,
Yep.
Kip Sabian's coming back. Um, you know, when he's going to return, that's really the big question. Like when is Pac going to be wrestling on an AEW event, right? My
Mm-hmm.
assumption is his next, like he's going to be still defending throughout, like that's the whole thing, that's the shtick of the championship.
Mm-hmm.
But do you make him come back to wrestle it All Out? Is that his first like in AEW defense of that championship? And
Mm-hmm.
is that where Kip Sabian comes back? Right? Is Kip Sabian the one that challenges him? Does Pac have like an open challenge, or do we build it like later on? Like do we say that eventually like Sabian unmasked, they attack each other and blah 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 blah. We're gonna have it at the pay per view.
Right.
Like but that's what I'm assuming is gonna happen. But I mean, I again, I'm just shocked. This Kip Sabian thing came out of nowhere. We've seen how many times have we seen Kip Sabian at the events, right? And we're like, oh my
Right.
god, he's gonna interfere with Miro and stuff like that. And I guess they totally said, you know what, we're gonna go in this direction with Miro, so let's not have Sabian back about that. And probably like, what are we gonna do with Sabian now? Because literally all he does is sit in the audience. That's all he does, right? Which at first was fun, and now it's just weird. So I'm glad they gave him a storyline that he's suddenly randomly now following Pac around. But yeah, I'm interested in this story. I just hope they continue with it and something happens and comes out of it. Because I would hate to be like, okay, so is it he like Pac fights all like just keeps fighting until All Out, and then Sabian just challenges him at All Out? That's gonna be like okay,
No, I
I
want the
guess.
creepy stalker gimmick. I want us to see Kip Sabian's home, and he's got like a shrine set
A
up to
Pac.
Pac, and like the eyes are cut out of all the pictures of Pac and stuff. And I want creepy stalker Kip Sabian.
Do you think Pac? So seeing how Pac's been defending this championship nonstop, what are the chances of Pac dropping this title at All Out?
If he drops it to someone who actually, wrestles at Rev Pro for a living, and they can just give it to Rev Pro, and then we don't have to watch Dark to watch the All Atlantic Championship defended anymore, that would be kind of great. Thanks. Um, but But yeah, no,
I just love Excalibur. Last night on Dark, and then they show the graphic of the fight, and at the
Mhm.
bottom it shows the date, July 23rd,
Yeah,
2022.
yeah.
Bro, I'm like,
Oops. Yeah, anyway. Good times. Well, after that, they go to all ego Ethan Page, who's in the ring, and he says, I came out to ask a question. Why? Why? Why the hell is Ethan Page not on TV every week? Why do I not have an action figure? Why am I not on the bus? Why? I'm feeling it. Ethan Page deserves better. But hold on, why would you guys cheer that? When an Ethan Page t-shirt goes on sale, you morons aren't in line. You nitwits are first in line for the Orange Cassidy thumbs up or a CM Punk shirt. You believe whatever BS Eddie Kingston spouts. This company and fans are leaving money on the freaking table, not promoting me. So Stokely says to him, what are you doing? All of a sudden, Stokely's in the ring with him. And he goes, what are you doing? He whispers to Ethan Page, gives him a card, and they leave together.
more of things just happened today, right? Well, I saw this, and my first thought was, okay, where is American American Top Team, American Tag Team? Where is American Top Team? Right? Where's Scorpio Sky? Right? Where are these people? They just disappeared. Like, I'm happy Ethan Page has a voice now. Great. But our solution to taking him away from American Top Team is to put him with Stokely Hathaway.
Yes, that is in fact our solution.
Oh, okay. I guess. All right. Sure. Enjoy some more dark matches, Paige. Like, I don't know what else I'm gonna say. Like, what has Stokely done to help anyone?
I mean, Jade Cargill hasn't even been on a
No,
Dynamite in
exactly.
like a few weeks. So, I mean, that's, in fact, Stokely Hathaway might be my new favorite person for that exact reason. You go, dude. You take all these
Oh,
people I don't really care if I see on TV, and you make sure they're never seen on TV.
oh.
I love it. You know what they could have done instead of this promo? They could have given 5 more minutes of that 7-star Matt Hardy Christian Cage match.
I would just point out, because I don't care about the Ethan Page stuff. Going quickly back to the elite stuff that we over talked about earlier. When the elite were getting attacked, they showed this kid in the audience, and the kid was literally in tears that Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson were getting beaten up. And people have screenshot that image and put it on Twitter, and all they're saying is my reaction when Kenny didn't show up tonight. And that was my reaction as well.
And I'll guarantee you, everyone who posted that picture reads internet stuff all the time.
All of
Can
us.
I make a suggestion to you? There's some really good Thor comics written by Jason Aaron. There's a lot of them. They would take a while to read. You might want to check them out.
No way, man. I'm deep in this already. I need to know everything about Kenny at all times. Kenny,
But
I'm
the
becoming
thing
your
is,
stalker.
you're not learning everything about Kenny. You're learning this fantasy world that other people create surrounding Kenny. That's not the same thing.
Yeah, but Kenny's online too, so I'm following Kenny around. We're stalking him.
That's different, but he only posts once in a blue moon.
He does. He does. He normally posts on Twitter his matches. He's like, I remember this match. This was
Yep.
fun.
Well,
And then everyone says we miss you.
and how long did that just take you to recap? 2
Not that
seconds.
long.
Yeah. So you know what you can then do? Pick up a Jason Aaron Thor comic, sit down, read a little while.
I'm gonna follow Kenny Omega around.
Yeah, I know. It's like repeatedly beating my head into a wall and expecting a different result. I know. Anyway, to brighten my spirits, we now go in the back to Angelo Parker, Matt Menard, and Anna Jay. And they're there with Tony Schiavone, and Daddy Magic starts it off, and he says, you want to know what makes my nipples hard? 1 week from tonight, Chris Jericho will be La Champion for the second time. And then Tony says, well, if he defeats Wheeler Yuta. So Matt Menard steps in with his switchblade comb and says, you getting smart, Tony? You know what happens when you get smart? You and the AEW Galaxy need to appreciate us. We just keep getting better, just like we got better when we added Anna. And Anna says, that's right, I'm Anna Jas. I'm the toughest, I'm the sexiest, I'll choke anyone out. I'm sorry, I couldn't even finish reading this. And she's like, I can choke out Tony, I can choke out you. And then she chokes out some random dude.
She said it.
Oh,
She's like, I'll choke you out. I'll choke the camera guy
yep,
out. Hey, I'll
yep,
even choke you out. And then she
yep.
choked that guy out.
Chokes the guy out. It was amazing. I love the fact too, by the way, that she's doing the whole like what is it, Nikki Ash, almost a superhero, ASH.
Also, it's they're hilarious. I love the Angelo Parker's appreciate us, right? It works so well. Like they've taken everything WWE does and they make fun of it, and it's so good. And yeah, I love their promos. I like this is Anna Jay made the best decision leaving the Dark Order because this is just helping her so much. So
Yep.
good job.
Yeah, she's over the top ridiculous now, and it fits
It
perfectly. Like
fits.
this whole I'm gonna choke everybody, and she just starts randomly choking people out. It is amazing. I love it. This is the best character she's ever had. She fits in perfectly with them. Ty Conti better watch out because this girl's gonna pass her in
Mhm.
5 seconds with this gimmick. Speaking of gimmicks, we then go on to the Gun Club versus the Acclaimed in a dumpster match during the time slot that the women used to get. So right out of the gate, though, we get the Acclaimed jumping Billy Gunn on the stage, some trash cans to the Guns, and then Max Caster asks for his music, and he's like, "Yo, listen," and he raps some stuff as usual. But one of the line that really stuck out and made the crowd go was the "We make the ass boys retire like Vince McMahon."
Yep.
So then the Guns come back at the end of the rap sequence. There is a lot of stuff in this match of people hitting each other with cans and things, so I'm not going to recap all of that. But Bowens did a really good double suplex onto the mats. Bowens was thrown into the dumpster early, Caster too, but they managed to stop the lid. Then there was a lot of hitting each other outside of the ring. Bowens eventually is tossed off a dumpster into cans for a pretty cool spot. But then we get towards the end, and we get Caster throws Austin. They're up on top of the entrance, and Austin was going to do something up there. Caster gets behind him, and he throws Austin off the top of the entrance tunnel into the second dumpster that's on the top of the stage. Then Caster does a mic drop off the top of that tunnel through a table onto Colten, and they toss him into the dumpster and close the lid. At that point, it's over. Now, they wait quite a while, and then they decide they're going to toss the dumpster off the stage, which it takes them a while because it gets stuck on something on the stage, which I think Jim Ross mentioned was pyro. And they finally get it unstuck, shove the dumpster off the stage. It tips over on its side and it's full of paper shredding. So, what'd you think?
Um. Yeah. It. I had fun with this match. It did what it had to do. It was over a lot quicker than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, you're right. A lot of throwing cans, a lot of like it was just a fight that they were doing. Um, I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. I thought it was good. It's basically the Acclaim. They're so freaking hilarious, and of course the ass boys like they play that role. I told you like they're just so annoying. You just want them to get hurt. My one problem, and it wasn't really a problem. It's kind of like I said that AEW has to be very careful with some of these spots they do. With first of all the car earlier tonight, and then with this dumpster thing, because when the when they claim like they locked the can, right? They used the like those little
Mhm.
things to lock it. Um, my assumption was that was supposed to hold it tight, right? But when they actually push the can over, the lid rips open, right?
Mhm.
And then it falls, and you see it fall. The problem is if you look closely, you actually see one of the Gun's feet, their boots on the like right on the side, like where the can smashes down. And I'm like, I don't know if that was planned to happen because I don't think that lid was supposed to open the way it did. Again, dangerous spot for a spot. Um, I was looking as they were celebrating. I was looking at the people like the AEW crew run over to the trash can that was tipped over. So I'm hoping everything's fine. I'm hoping that no one got hurt or anything like that. But it just looked like when I saw the boot, like you could see one of their feet right like sticking out. Like it wasn't fully out, but it was where the can had hit. And I'm like, I don't know if that was safe in any way, because at first I was like, okay, maybe they're positioning it in a way where the guns can get out of the can. But then I was looking at the can, I'm like, okay, well, there's nothing there for it to come out. And when it did get stuck, and the reason it got stuck is like the can was being pushed, and because the wheels, the wheels turn, obviously, they were gonna push it off the side. It's going off the side, and luckily, Anthony Bowens like saw it and kind of fixed it. But I'm like, these spots, is it worth it to have these things? Like, we know Darby Allin does stupid stuff like this, right? Darby Allin, but this guy, that's him. I don't know if we need this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's good enough, but unless you practice and it's a controlled fall, which it probably should have been. I just, when that lid opened, it didn't look like it was supposed to happen. Is what my issue was.
Are you sure there was a foot inside that boot?
It was I don't know. I don't know if there was a foot
Because
inside the boot.
here's what I think happened. They were an awful long time getting around to moving that can.
Yeah,
And it was
yeah,
a can with a black bottom over top of a black part of the stage, and the camera very clearly distracted away from it for a long time. I don't think there was anyone in that can. I think they got out.
Hopefully.
I think it was a gimmick can. I think the bottom comes out, and I think they left. Because when that can tipped, it did not seem to have the weight of two people in it. They had to throw that thing off with the weight of two people, and the way it flipped,
yeah,
and it just dumped out lightly all of that paper. I'm like, there was no one in that can.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's the case, because I was like, that doesn't look right, because it's just when that lid opened, and it could be that the lid was supposed to remain closed because there weren't anybody in there. So that means that the front row got a full view of paper coming out of the
right. But of course, that paper could also be hiding bodies, right? Like, and of course, they could then bring them in from behind the stage if they really wanted to. I mean, there's all kinds of ways you could do that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they were in the can. Maybe they're all cushioned by all the paper that's
all the can,
right? Because that was a lot of soft, shredded paper, right? That was clearly a nice, comfy bed for them to lie on. So, that if they were in the can, it probably protected them. I kind of doubt they were. But you're right, the fans on that road then will get a pretty good look into the thing. I mean, overall, I agree with you on one point. Was it necessary?
It wasn't necessary.
They have to throw it. It wasn't even that big a spectacle. You know what's going to happen? End of the year, we're going to be talking about like things we remember, moments that we remember, matches of the year. This is not even going to come up.
No.
So why bother?
Agreed.
It's like the Sammy off the top of the cage thing, right?
Yeah.
Through the table. The only reason I remember that now is because I'm like, we're never going to remember that spot. So because I've said that, I now remember that spot. But if I hadn't consciously tried to say, I'm never going to remember it, I wouldn't remember it right now. So yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it was a match. It happened. Gun Club are gone. Can we move on from the Gun Club now? That would be great. Okay, thanks. Okay, then we have a whole bunch of matches. Rampage, Mox versus Mance Warner, the guy, and they talked about Jim Crockett Promotions. There's gonna be a Friday night street fight, and Madison Rayne makes her debut. So I'm thinking to myself, Rampage imminently skippable.
Did it? Madison Rayne makes her in-ring debut?
Yes.
Okay, just wondering. I'm like, I thought she was a coach, but I guess she's still a wrestler as well, right?
Well, so I mean, think about all those guys who are doing promo and VP of promotion and talent relations. Most of them are still wrestling too, right?
That's true.
You saw Sanjay Dutt tonight, right?
Yep, it's true.
Yep, and then we have the card for Battle of the Belts. We have Claudio Castagnoli versus Takeshita, and then they had a promo where each of them said they were going to win. Yay. Thunder Rosa versus Jamie Hayter, and Wardlow versus Jay Lethal. Any comments on any of that?
I mean, I'm happy to see Takeshita fight Claudio. That should be a pretty good match. Wardlow versus Jay Lethal. Like, Jay Lethal is great, but again, Wardlow's not the greatest. He's just a big guy. Thunder Rosa versus Jamie Hayter. That one might be the the dark horse there, right? Because we saw them put Jamie Hayter on tonight, where she was like the strong, like she was built out to be like the monster in the match. So against Thunder Rosa, do I think Thunder Rosa is going to drop the belt to Jamie Hayter? No, I don't think that's going to happen. But hey, like it's Battle of the Belts. So are we going to go to Battle of the Belts and then everyone who's has a belt is just going to retain it? You would think you would make it a little bit exciting and have someone win it. And they did mention that, uh, Thunder Rosa's had the belt for 160 days already. And I was like, okay, interesting. They had to promote that. But anyways, yeah, interested. I'll watch it. Not something I'll have to watch immediately, but I'll watch it. It 3 matches. I really just want to see Takeshita fight. Like that's my guy. Everything else, like, yeah, I can watch it, but not really excited for it.
Yeah, I'd like to see Rosa versus Hayter too. I think that'll be a good match. But yeah, I'm with you. It's kind of like, yeah, Battle of the Belts always seems like I should watch it and will likely watch it, but I don't have to watch it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
Yep. Then we get Chris Jericho versus Wheeler Yuta. We have William Regal on commentary. Jericho comes out with Danny Magic and Matt Menard, and so Claudio Castagnoli comes running out after to join Wheeler to stand opposite Danny and Matt. So Wheeler immediately starts off by flicking Jericho's broken nose, which puts him in pain, does some chops, twists the nose again, and Jericho bails out. Yuta follows, whip into the guardrails, back into the ring. Matt Menard holds Yuta's leg, but Aubrey Edwards sees this, tosses the JAS, but Yuta's distracted. Chris Jericho tries the roll up, but Yuta goes back to the nose until Chris Jericho knocks the ropes, dropping Yuta off the top rope. Chris Jericho then takes it to Yuta, back suplex, senton. Yuta tries an off the rope, but Jericho drop kicks him, and then he does some hammer and anvil elbows to Yuta, and looks like he really needs to take some lessons from Mox or Danielson. Gives the middle finger to the crowd. Yuta fights back, Manhattan drop, Enziguri, an elbow, then the ascent of Yuta, but they both try a crossbody bouncing off the ropes, hit each other, so they're both down for a bit. Yuta comes back with his German suplex sequence. He does 5 of them with a pin on the last one for a 2 count. Jericho counters another pin attempt into the walls of Jericho. Yuta makes it to the ropes, but Jericho thought he'd won, which is always amusing. Yuta does a back body drop over the rope, tope suicida, then a second tope, and then a third tope. Yuta then with a high cross body for 2. Jericho reverses a lariat into a double underhook backbreaker and a short arm clothesline, and then tries a lion salt, but it's blocked. Yuta goes off the top again, but this time gets caught into a code breaker for a near fall. Jericho does some more hammer and anvil elbows, but Yuta grabs his nose, locks Jericho into a submission, one that William Regal was saying, oh, I just taught him that one. We've been working on it for weeks. Jericho grabs the bat, but with Aubrey distracted, he kicks Yuta low, right between the legs, but the Judas effect misses. Yuta comes back with a seatbelt for 2, but Jericho puts the Lion Tamer on, not the walls, the Lion Tamer. And Yuta taps out to the Lion Tamer, but Jericho refuses to release it. Mox comes out. Jericho bails. And then Jericho cuts a quick promo on Mox saying, you're going to get the last 5 of the Heart Dungeon. You're going to get the Lion Heart. But I'm going to stretch the bleep out of you and walk out the AEW champ. You can bleep and guarantee it. And that was the end of the show.
Yeah. So I mean, picking a match of the night, obviously it's gonna have to be this one. I said from before, Chris Jericho has been wrestling so well recently that he's regained, or he's found the fountain of youth somewhere. So watching him versus Yuta, it's a good match. Like, obviously, like watching these two go at it, like you can tell Yuta more of a high flyer, though Jericho keeping up, all these like lion salts and everything he was trying, like that code breaker off the top rope where he caught him. Like, that was pretty cool. And yeah, with the lion tamer at the end, I was like, at first I was like, is he going for the walls again? And when he did the one leg down, I was like, oh, nice, it's a lion tamer, right? And then obviously wins the match. I'm like, okay, there you go, seals it. The Lionheart's back, right? I like that. I really like the fact that was that they ended with that, because again, it doesn't hurt Yuta in any way. He lost to Chris Jericho, and it just means that Jericho is ready for Mox next week, right? So it's up in the air now. I'm like, does Jericho beat Mox? Does Mox beat Jericho? But hey, either way, when CM Punk returns, he's gonna have to fight one of these two, right? Mm-hmm. Who would I rather watch CM Punk fight? You know what? I don't know. I don't know at this point because CM Punk is such a big like if he's a face that you'd want him to be fighting obviously a huge heel, and that's what Jericho is really, right? But no, I like this match. I really did like this match, and I thought it did its job building up for next week.
Yeah, no, it was a good match. It was a good match. I mean, I'm going to marginally make it my match of the night too. It is only
Yeah.
marginally edging out the other two matches I've mentioned earlier. It was a good match. Yuta's very good. I like the fact he was going after the nose. There was a lot of good moves. There was a lot of good counters. There was a lot of good action. Um, it didn't quite get me to the point where I was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing!" It was just, this is really good stuff. That was about it. That's about where I got into this match. I also was like, ooh, good finish with the Lion Tamer. Good,
Hmm.
good,
Hmm.
good call, right? I mean, it makes a lot of sense. He finishes with the Lion Tamer. Um, Jericho looked really good in this match again. His wrestling really has picked up a lot over the last little while, and he's just been wrestling his butt off.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, he can keep up with a guy like Yuta, and he doesn't even look slow.
No, exactly. That was my
So
point. Exactly.
Yeah, so it's pretty good stuff. Yeah, so I was impressed. But I mean, overall, this show after that, I mean, Mox comes out and it's whatever. They're ready for the next show. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Overall, this Dynamite's exactly what I thought it was going to be. It was a middling Dynamite. I mean, which for Dynamite means I still enjoyed it. There's a lot of good stuff on it. Had a good time. Didn't mind watching it. 2 hours well spent. But at the end of the year, this is not exactly going to be like a Dynamite that sticks out in my head and I go, wow, what a show.
Fair. No, I agree with that.
Anything else to add?
Yeah, it was just I feel like it was almost like a throwaway show is what this was, right? And that's what I felt throughout the entire night.
Yeah. Well, with that, that about wraps up our review of this week's Dynamite, which means it is time for our phrase that wraps up the evening.
My phrase that wraps up the evening, and I'm gonna say it the way that I feel right now. You know, it's all about the boom. Adam Cole, baby. That's how I felt about this entire episode of AEW. I was happy to see the elite, but at best mediocre show altogether. So, I'm hoping next week we're just blown out of the water here. But yeah, you know what? This is like one of those. This wouldn't even be like a go home show, right? It's just kind of like it it was there. We're not gonna remember this entire card at all, right? In a couple of weeks. So yeah, that's how I felt.
Yep. My phrase that sums up the evening is, well, that was a show.
That was a show.
But with that, it is in fact time for us to go. And as the Great One always says, though seriously, he's not coming back just yet, okay? Give him a couple more weeks. But as the Great One always says, goodbye, everybody, and good night. Bang.
Good night, everyone.